Good evening everyone. Welcome to this Unacademy CAT channel, the guest session that we have organized for TISS 2021 aspirants. My name is Ronak Shah and once again I welcome all of you to this amazing session, and we have students from TISS ODCL program with us to guide you for the TISSMAT and online interview process for this year's admission. In fact, if you are targeting TISS program next year, then definitely this session will be equally helpful so that you will get fair idea what kind of questions are they going to ask and how to do the complete preparation. So before we go ahead, I just want to tell to all my viewers that Unacademy CAT is the largest online platform to prepare for CAT and other MBA entrance exams in India. So we conduct daily live sessions. These are completely free sessions on this YouTube channel. And apart from that, you can also download Unacademy Learning app and you can unlock it with my code CHAR10 and you can enjoy free sessions over there as well. So I welcome all my guests from TISS. We have Mr. Nikhil, Mr. Akash and Mr. Ayush with us. Yeah, thanks for joining guests. How are you all?
Thank you, sir. Thank you, Ronak. We are good.
Yeah, so why don't you introduce yourself so that our viewers have an idea about your background. So starting with you, Nikhil, if you can just introduce.
Right. So hello everyone. I'm Nikhil Kumar and I'm second year student of MA ODCL. And before joining this course, I was working with organization called Allstate Insurance in Bangalore as a consultant.
Yes, Akash, yes, you can introduce.
Yeah. Hello everyone. My name is Akash Deep Yadav. I am currently in my second semester of MA ODCL program. I have 3 years of work ex in IT sector, a Capgemini firm. And before that, I passed out from NIT Raipur in electronics and telecommunication field. Ayush, you can go ahead.
Thanks, Akash. Hi, everyone. My name is Ayush. I am currently a 4th semester student at TISS Bombay. I'm studying ODCL. Prior to TISS, I spent around 3 years working for a US firm called Cerner Healthcare in Bangalore. And that's it about me. Looking forward for the interaction today.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm sure even the learners, the viewers are awaiting for this interaction because most of them have cleared the cutoff for TISS for various programs. And now they are gearing up for TISSMAT and the OPI process. So before we go ahead, we also have few learners who are targeting TISS programs next year, and they are just wondering what kind of programs are there, what is the eligibility criteria for various programs under the School of Management in TISS Mumbai. So yes, Ayush, can you quickly tell us about the programs available under the School of Management in TISS and what kind of exams are conducted for that?
Sure. So, Ronak, from your channel, I would like to tell our aspirants that there are various functions and programs that are offered from TISS. TISS in general offers more than 50 courses. In terms of School of Management and Labor Studies, there are more than 4 to 5 programs which are in various fields like globalization and labor to human resource management and labor studies. And then we have TISS ODCL, Organizational Development, Change and Leadership. Then we have a full-time course in analytics as well. So I would encourage the students to go through our website once to go in detail about how these programs are designed and what's in for them.
Yes.
There are multiple programs offered from the School of Management and Labor Studies.
Right. Thanks, Ayush, for that. In fact, yes, Akash, if you can just help us understand, of course, the learners will definitely go through the website. But Akash, if you can just quickly tell them that there are various entrance exams like TISSNAT, then TISSMAT, then there is TISSPAT and TISSBAT, and then there is interview process. So which college, what is the selection process for various colleges that Ayush just mentioned? If you can just quickly, summarize that.
Yes, sure, Ronak. So the first and foremost exam is the TISSNAT exam, which is conducted on national level, and that is the basic exam which any aspirant has to clear. Post the TISSNAT exam, students would have to give the TISSMAT and TISSPAT. So TISSPAT is something which has been introduced this year, and TISSMAT was introduced last year. So TISSMAT is basically for HRM and ODCL courses, and for rest all courses, it is the TISSPAT exam. So these are the majorly 2 differences between the TISSMAT and TISSPAT.
Okay, fine. So now students are asking, there are few students who are posting this question in the chat box. When can they expect TISSMAT to be conducted this year, and what are the dates for interview? Because I think it has been postponed or so. So do you have any idea about the dates, the tentative dates? Akash?
we had this notice from the administration itself that the dates for interviews are deferred, but for the TISSMAT, the dates, it seems it is still 8th of May, tentative date. I mean, that date is not yet deferred, but it seems it would be 8th of May.
Okay, so yes, so we had this candidate who was asking this thing, Souvik Roy. So Souvik, I hope you have got this answer. So now let me quickly tell to all my learners, all my viewers, that the agenda for this session is to understand the TISSMAT paper pattern, to also understand what areas to focus on to clear this particular exam. Apart from that, we are also going to tell you what kind of questions can you be asked in the online interview process. We call it OPI. So this is going to be the agenda. So we are going to spend 20 minutes on TISSMAT business awareness, then another maybe 10 minutes on business awareness, then another 10 to 15 minutes on descriptive writing as part of TISSMAT, and then we'll go to interview related questions, and our experts would help you address your queries as well. So please be there, and do not forget to like this particular video, and please share it with as many of your friends as possible so that even they can be benefited. So yes, Akash, can we go ahead? Can you just show this slides so that we can start with the business awareness round? And yes, viewers, are you all ready? That we have prepared certain questions for you, so try to answer these questions. Yes, Akash, you can take them to that.
Yes, Nikhil, can you just move to the TISSMAT slide, Nikhil?
Yes, so Mr. Bohra is asking what should be the ideal approach for writing essay. We will tell you about that as well.
Yes, we will come to that. So let's talk about TISSMAT, which would be conducted on 8th of May, which has been the date as of now. So it will be a 45 minutes test, which will be of 50 marks. And to make a note of it, that there won't be any sectional or aggregate cutoffs, which has been the case in TISSNET. There was sectional cutoff for GK sections, but it is not a case for TISSMAT. But yes, there will be negative markings for sure. So +1 for the correct responses, and 0.25 will be deducted if there are any negative responses. So aspirants should definitely keep this in mind while attempting the questions, because in TISSNET people mark all the 100 questions, but in TISSMAT they have to take a cautious step over here. After this, like in the TISSMAT section, we have 3 sections. First one is the reading comprehension. Then we have business awareness, and then data interpretation. So like 10 questions of reading comprehension, 15 questions of DI, and 10 questions of business awareness. And after that, we have the descriptive writing question, which will be of 15 marks. And like we have already mentioned, that this TISSMAT is only for HRM and ODC aspirants. For the other aspirants, it will be TISSPAT. So the structure will be totally different.
Okay.
Yes, Nikhil. So Nikhil, can you just move to the next slide? Yes. This gives a description of like what would be the sources from where an aspirant can prepare. So first one, like if I talk about the business awareness section, this section would basically test your like how aware are you about the various aspects of a business, and like what all happenings are, what all news are there in respect to the business awareness in recent happenings. So it won't be like you have to prepare for around 4 to 5 years of business awareness. It should be around like minimum 2 years of news that you have. You should be thorough with it. So and we have mentioned the preparation sources like the Economic Times, Financial Times, Business Today. So these are the newspapers which basically gives you news on the business aspects. So it would be good for the aspirants if they focus on such newspapers. For the descriptive writing part, the topics would be around the current social, political, economic, and organizational related issues. So they can focus majorly on these areas. And the candidates would need to choose one topic. There will be an optional. So they need to choose one topic, and they need to write at least 500 words in the descriptive writing section. And the DI and comprehension section, So since these students would have been preparing for other B schools exam as well, so this section would be at par with those exams. So they did not focus, worry much of these areas because they would have already prepared. So I would suggest them to focus more on the business awareness and the descriptive writing part in this section of TISSMAT.
Right, Akash. So before we go ahead, there are some questions that are being asked. First is, this Navdeep is asking, will the level of difficulty be at par with CAT, or it will be something like CMAT and MAT, what we see?
So this is for DI and reading comprehension, I believe.
DI, yeah, management data interpretation.
Yes. So I wouldn't say that it will be at par with CAT, but you can expect the difficulty not at that level, but the questions could be tricky. So just not underestimate that the questions will be of very easy ones. They should prepare. Their preparation would have been up to the CAT level, but they can be rest assured that they will be able to solve it. I would say that.
Right. So you mean to say, Akash, that in CAT we get this kind of questions where we are not able to comprehend the question itself. While here we will be definitely able to comprehend, but it's just that you maybe ask some relationship between two variables, say profit and the cost, and you should be able to identify that, because as the name suggests, it is management data interpretation. Right, so you may be given the data in different forms, and you should be able to carefully extract the information out of that. Right.
Yes.
So I think that's fair enough. So let's go to our the next part.
These are some sample questions regarding business awareness, just to give a fair idea as to what would be the pattern and what pattern they could expect from in the business awareness section, so that it would help them in their preparation.
Sure.
So first question,
Right. So here are the questions, and I want all my viewers to type their answers in the chat box. So everyone, please type your answer in the chat box. The first question, as it is mentioned by Akash. Yeah, Akash, go ahead, and let's let them answer.
The first question says, in business terms, what is a unicorn? And this word, I think it has been in news since past 1 week or so, because I think in last 6 days or something, 4 unicorns have come up. In India, there are many unicorns coming up this year. So I think aspirants should be aware, like, what is basically a unicorn and when would we classify a startup as a unicorn?
Right. So I think all of them are giving the correct answer. It's option D. That's correct. Absolutely correct. Yes, Akash?
Yes, that's absolutely correct. A company with a market capitalization of at least $1 billion would classify as a unicorn.
Okay, just want to tell that even Unacademy is a unicorn now. Okay,
great.
We have crossed that stage long back, of course.
Yes.
Fine. So let's go to the second question. Yes, Akash.
Yes. So second question says, who among the following was appointed as the new CEO of IBM? I think this is a pretty straightforward question. So who all have prepared well for the TISSNET would be able to answer this question.
Okay, so I'm getting few answers for that. Ravi is saying option A, Brahmaduddin is saying option A, Souvik option A, Pushkar option A. Yeah, is that correct?
So I think all of them are getting the right answer. It's option A, Arvind Krishna.
Right, great. Okay, so just want to tell just want to mention this thing over here that our expert Rishikesh Kate will also conduct few sessions for TISSMAT business awareness. So please attend his sessions, and that would be really helpful. Yes, we can go to third question.
Yeah, so third question is also a pretty straightforward question, like who is the current CMD of Air India? So CMD stands for Chairman and Managing Director. Who is this current CMD of Air India?
Everyone, so please mention the question number while writing your answer. That would be really helpful, like what Tushar has done or Pushkar has done. So please mention the question number 3 and then option, so that we can understand that you are answering for this question or the previous one. Okay, so we have some answers coming up. Pushkar and Souvik saying option B. What about others? Come on, everyone, give a try at least. But remember, there is a negative marking, right? Unlike TISSNET. In TISSNET, there was no negative marking. So they are habitual of shooting the answers.
Yes.
Right, but here they are saying Rajiv Bansal. Is that correct?
Absolutely correct. It is Rajiv Bansal. Now, I'm not sure, but some might have got confused with the CEO of Air India, which is like Ashwin Lohani, but it talks about CMD. So Chairman and Managing Director is Rajiv Bansal. So
Great.
what to keep in mind is, if you're not sure, not to go with the fluke, because that would cost you 0.25 of your marks. So if you're sure, then only you should make the answer.
Okay, great. Yeah, now the fourth question.
Yeah, and the last question is, what is India's rank according to Ease of Doing Business 2020 report?
What is our current rank? So now few answers are coming up. Many of them are saying 63rd.
Cool.
Yes, come on, everyone. So here there is no negative marking. So here at least you can give a try. So you will also understand how many of your questions are going right and wrong.
Yes.
Right. So what's the correct answer?
I think aspirants have got it right here also. It is 63rd. So, the main agenda of putting these 4 questions, if you could see a pattern, that these are mostly related to, business part, and there are various aspects of business. So these are not something of related to history or something. These are something which are very recent in news, and hence they should make an attempt to focus only on such questions so as to gain more marks in business awareness part.
Absolutely.
That was the main agenda of putting this such sample 4 questions.
I think they have got a fair idea, but you will have to make sure, learners, you will have to make sure that you are covering the wide spectrum of business awareness. It should not happen that you are just looking at CEOs and CMDs, right? Okay, fine. They are smart enough, by the way. Right. So yes, now before we go ahead with the descriptive writing part as part of TISSMAT, I just want to tell to all my learners, yes, if you can just stop screen sharing. Just for a moment, if you can stop the screen sharing. Nikhil, yeah, fine. So just want to tell to all my viewers that you are watching us live right now on Unacademy CAT and Unacademy CAT for MBA. So these are our 2 channels, and keep attending our daily live sessions for whatever entrance exam you are preparing for. I have a team from TISS ODCL program with us, and they are addressing your queries related to TISS 2021 admission process. And I just want to tell you that we are starting new plus batches every week. So Unacademy provide regular batches in the form of plus batches on Unacademy Learning app. So you can also be part of that. For that, you will have to go for plus subscription. And when you go for plus subscription, use the code SHAR10 to get the discounts. And if you have any other query, you can explore description. More details have been provided over there. Yes. So Nikhil, let's go ahead with the second part and help them with the descriptive writing. You can just show a sample topic and help them to understand the approach.
Right. So let me know once you can see the screen.
Yeah, it's visible. So I can see this.
Fine, aspirant. So I will be talking about descriptive writing, which is part of this MAT this year. So we know that there is slight change in TISSMAT pattern this year. Unlike last year, this year along with MCQ questions, we are expected to write a essay on a topic provided to us. So basically we have 30 MCQ questions in this section, and at the same time you have 45 minutes, and this whole TISSMAT consists of 50 marks. And so I would say ideally you can devote almost 20 minutes also for this essay writing, and they are expecting you to write an essay of 500 words. So couple of suggestions which I wanted to talk from our experience. So what I would expect you guys to do is go through the instructions very carefully once you get any topic, and my suggestion would be instead of directly jumping to writing part, you can devote about 2 minutes or 3 minutes to the thinking part, where you can structure your thoughts initially, and you do some brainstorming about the topic and jot down the points, and then think about how you can structure that, and then start drafting the content. And for 500 words, I would suggest you can use almost 5 to 6 paras for this essay. And then I would like to talk, so it's a bit different in a sense that it's not a write these essays on paper, but this time they are expecting you to write down on systems. So I would advise that you do some practice before, because typing and writing, that would be very different experience altogether. So I would just like to take one example and explain you guys before we give you one topic and ask you to write. So let's say I will take the example of gig economy, so which is in trend. So guys, if you get some topic like this, how we can approach topic like that? So I would suggest that we can start with introduction part. As a typical essay goes, that it has the introduction, body, and the conclusion part. So you can just talk about your understanding about gig economy. Then my suggestion would be, you think through and you try to find some correlations, like gig economy, how digitization movement that influence gig economy, what is the impact of COVID on gig. At the same time, you can find a correlation between Industry 4.0 and gig. And then you can also look at what are the stakeholders involved in any topic provided. So let's say here in gig economy, you have employees and employer. Then you can look at the pros and cons of both all the stakeholders who are associated in this particular topic. So, and then you can, let's say, when we see employees, so for them it will be flexibility. They can be at home. They can work for multiple organizations. For employers, they need not have to worry about L&D of people now. So now people can groom themselves and they can come and they can deliver the task. So that's how you have to just look at the topic. You have to structure it and then you have to write about that. So couple of suggestions. We can also talk about few frameworks. But before that, this is a sample topic for you guys, where I would like you guys to take 2 minutes and write a small, essay or whatever thoughts coming to you, so that we can look at your essay and then I can talk about.
Yeah, so I think Nikhil, you have fairly given them idea about how to approach this particular descriptive writing part, and everyone. So why don't you just this is a very concurrent topic, COVID-19 crisis in India. So all those who are watching us live right now, guys, why don't you just put some thoughts, maybe 3 points. What will you talk about? What your essay will be built around? If you are given this topic, if you want, you can just post it in the comment section, and then we will just discuss it one by one. And we'll spend about 5 to 7 minutes on that, everyone. So please come forward. And after this, we are definitely going to discuss the most important round, which is personal interview. And Ayush is going to help us with that. Right. So if you can just draft couple of points or 3 points maybe and post it in the chat box. Because this is a very general topic. So how you are going to stand out, that also makes a difference. Okay, so now one response is coming up. So Burhanuddin Bora is saying impact on economy. So he will talk about impact on economy, then how it started in China and when came to India. So that means you are talking about the origin and all, right? Souvik. Focus on healthcare. Okay. So Pooja is going to talk about focus on healthcare. What else can you talk, guys? COVID crisis has affected us in multiple ways, right? Education, yes, how it has impacted the education. Was lockdown beneficial? Okay, you can take a different stand and you can build around that how this complete lockdown was beneficial. There are definitely pros for that. How it has affected sports. Right, so see how many different points are coming up. So I'm sure all those who are watching us live right now, you are also getting the food for thought, and that was the exact objective. Lack of health infrastructure in India, so it raised question against that. Work from home, absolutely. So we have been talking about healthcare. It can also include the mental health care, because it has affected the mental health of many people. Because of sudden shift in the routine and all. Yes, so now for many good points are coming up, vaccination drive and others. Great. So guys, this is how you need to actually build on the given topic, and you need to make sure that it goes in a nice and smooth manner. Do not try to scratch so much. So having thought clarity will be really important, right? Yes, so some really good thoughts are coming up, Nikhil, in the chat box. If you see,
yes, sir. I'm just like going through those, and yeah, great to see all these thoughts flowing, and I could see that they are already in the process of their preparation.
Right.
So, guys, I would just like to talk about a few frameworks which we can use when we write any essays. So these are the two frameworks as an example. So these are just two. You can also look for, there are various others as well. So the first one is the PESTEL analysis. So what we do for external environment analysis. So let's say for this topic, if I use PESTEL, so what will be my approach? My approach will be, I will look at this topic from a political angle. So what are the political consequences of COVID in India? We all know that presently, we had elections in Bihar, we had elections in West Bengal, and like how things are changing in terms of politics. At the same time, you can look at the topic from economic impact, how it impacted import, export, and in terms of like, overall productions and manufacture, all those things. At the same time, you can look at the issue in terms of social impact. Like previously, we used to come out of our homes, we used to mingle, and now we have to follow the social distancing and all. So it impacted the social aspect of the society. At the same time, we can talk about technology. That we have seen many organizations, they were not, having practice of going for work from home. But after this COVID, they also understood that that is also a way they can implement in their offices. Then environmental impact of COVID, we saw that, we started talking that in Delhi also we see very less pollution after this COVID, and so these were the environmental impact. At the same time, we can look at legal impact. So guys, what I am trying to make you understand by giving you a framework is, we just saw that we gave you a topic and you guys started, jotting down what was coming to your thoughts. But when you look at any topic from a framework point of view, you can see just how you structure your thought becomes, and it becomes very easy for you to jot down your thoughts, and in the limited time what you had. So you have to write 500 words and you have 45 minutes for the whole thing, where I would say, I will assume that 20 minutes and so you would like to devote, because you have MCQ questions also. So if you have some frameworks like this, it helps you. Similarly, there is another framework which we say SWOT analysis, which is strength, weakness, opportunity, or threat of any topic. So you can use, you can look at few frameworks like this, which will make your life a bit easier when you
right. So Nikhil, I think so I think learners have understood there's a nice way of approaching a topic, PESTEL analysis. So I'm sure they'll utilize this. But at the same time, Akash, I just want to ask you this question, because you had experienced this thing last year, right? Or it has been introduced from this year only, Akash? The descriptive
yes.
part?
For us, it wasn't there. Last year, descriptive writing part wasn't there.
Okay, so it is completely new. So learners, because many of them are asking this question, how are we going to write 500 words in just 15 minutes? Had it been something like 250 or 300 words? Ayush, so what are your views on that? If you are to take up this challenge, if you are an aspirant, Ayush, then what is your suggestion?
So, Ronak, just to I am from the previous batch, so I gave this process a year before.
Okay.
And luckily, we had to write an essay. The only difference is we had to write an essay on a pen and paper, which Nikhil picked up when he was giving his part.
Okay.
So we had this as a part of our interview process, where we were expected to write an essay, and just to share with the aspirants that we had to write an essay of 800 words.
And that what was the time? Ayush, if you can mention, what was the time duration?
Yeah, we had 20 minutes and we had 800 words.
800 words.
So I have gone through this process. Nikhil is also laughing, so I know what. So yes, coming back to the original question, how we can prepare it. So one thing which has helped me personally immensely is reading the Hindu articles. Now the Hindu articles covers areas from various topics like politics, economics, sports, anything. So what I would recommend is if you every morning or if a particular time which you are interested in, just pick up the Hindu newspaper and go through the editorials. That will give you a very rich perspective about how to write First, and second, what are the points that you can mention during your essays, which can be a good pointers. Third thing which you can also do is try to mention numbers. Now, say for example, my topic was FDI in e-commerce when I was giving my essay writing exam. Now, I didn't remember what exactly the FDI amount we had received, but I remembered that it was something in range of few billions. So I wrote approximately this much billions have been received by the Indian economy due to FDI regulations in e-commerce. So my using of the word approximate also helped the evaluator understand that I am aware about the numbers and there is also a chance that I have made some mistake. So these combination of 3-4 factors can help you to write a very solid essay in the time period which is available.
Yeah, I think you have given very valuable insights, and I'm sure the learners would have understood this also, that reading is definitely important. Have diversified reading so that you do not spend much time in collecting your thoughts. You have content ready and you can serve it in 15 minutes time. That's what you have, right? Okay, just one question, maybe Nikhil, Ayush, either of you can answer. In case if you are to write an essay of 500 words and if you write of about 400 words, will it have a huge impact, or if the content is good, they'll still consider it fairly? What is your thought on that?
So my thought is like quality definitely has an edge over quantity here, I would say. So let's say if you are able to provide a very good facts and you meet the criteria, then you are able to whatever reasoning you have. So basically, when we talk about the body part of essay, we have reasoning part. So whatever I mentioned very well, that we have to read multiple contents so that it will help you definitely forming your views about any topic, and that's what they expect. And facts is something like numbers, what you mentioned. So if you quote some numbers and that is from sources, some reliable sources, so that really give a very good impression. So when they say 500, I'm not pretty sure that they will sit and look at the number, but they are definitely interested in how you go about that and how your thoughts structure what I mentioned.
Right, so I'm sure this particular view would definitely give some peace of mind to the viewers, especially those who are going to face it for the first time, because sometimes I've seen they become so particular about that 500 number that they their focus deviates from the main thing, that you need to provide quality content. So guys, focus a little more on quality rather than being so panicky about that 500 number. Okay, and definitely you need to have that practice so that you will realize that okay, I'm reaching close to that. So you will have to develop that sense of judgment, definitely. Okay, so I think this was fair enough as far as descriptive writing is concerned, and I request all my viewers also to just acknowledge by showing the thumbs up if you are finding all the inputs provided by our guest very helpful. So just show us a thumbs up, guys. That will be really encouraging. And do not forget to press the like button. Please share it with all your friends so that even they can be benefited about this valuable insights that you are receiving right now. In case if you happen to watch this video after the session, then please post your comments in the comment section, and I'll prefer to read it, and I'll try to answer or reply to your queries. Yes, everyone.
Sir, before I hand over to Ayush, I would like to mention this thing. Like this time, it's mentioned on website that before you come to interview, panel is expecting you guys to go through a couple of books and material to know about the course, various courses which you have applied. So for OD, they have mentioned these 5 books on their website. So if you want, you can take screenshot of this page, and you can also go to the website of TISS, where they have mentioned these books, and if you can start reading one of these book or few of them, that would be really of help, because if they are mentioned on website, I'm pretty sure they will expect.
Right, so just want to reiterate, Nikhil, once again for all my viewers, everyone, if you are targeting TISS this year, they have suggested you to read certain material for the specializations that you have applied for, so that they can drill you a bit more during the interview. So please go through these books depending upon the specialization or the program that you have chosen, everyone. Yes, so please quickly take a screenshot of this. Nikhil, thanks for sharing this point. I'm sure there might be few learners who might miss out this thing, right? So yeah, it's good.
Right.
Okay,
fine. Now I would like Ayush to take it forward. Oops.
Yes. So let's go ahead with personal interview, and Ayush will help you get prepared for that.
Thanks, Ronak. Thanks, Nikhil, for sharing this. So I'll come to the last part of your entire experience of going through various rounds, and the last round is typically a person interview, where there is no prescribed format. I'm sure that every one of us, in one form or the other, have gone through certain interviews, whether it's an internship or a job interview. And I will be speaking more from an ODCL point of view, which requires you to have at least 2 years of work experience prior to applying to this course. So this becomes really important. Why? Because you have worked somewhere. So there is a natural element in your interview where certain questions or certain areas of questions will be from your work experience. So it is very important for you to understand what work you have done first and what impact it has created. Now, typically, the impact can be measured in 2 ways. Either you were able to generate some sort of revenue for your organization, or you were able to save some cost for the organization. How was your project impactful? And if you can measure this impact in numbers, then it becomes easy for someone to understand. For example, I improved the code quality, which improved the runtime from 5 seconds to 4.5 seconds. So this clearly mentions that because of your quality of your code, you were able to improve the efficiency by half a second. So my first advice would be to make sure that you try to, tell what impact your work created. That's very important. Second is, irrespective of whichever program that you have applied in TISS, TISS has a very open mindset when they ask interview questions to students. So they don't typically have questions ki why your 12th percentage was 96 or 69. But they might ask you what happened. But it will not be a make or break factor in case your academics are really good, really bad, or average. This is one of the few colleges in the country which doesn't discriminate basis on the marks that you have scored, because every one of us goes through their own journey. If you have a really solid reason why, probably you were not keeping well, probably you were trying to start up, probably you had a family emergency. And if you are able to explain that with a very probable reason and empathy, please be rest assured that it will not go against you. Third, and most important, just be thorough with your CV. So whatever interview questions that you might get, 95% will be from your CV itself. So be very concurrent with the topics, very concurrent with your job experience. If you have done some internships, please be very well versed about that. And just prepare a good story. How will you introduce yourself? Just practice in front of the mirror a few times so that it looks really structured and well balanced between your academics, your job experience, your extracurricular activities, or anything else which you have done differently. Last, and one thing which helped me a lot when I was preparing for my interviews is knowing about the Indian business ecosystem. So that is not restricted to just startups. It can also have topics about Indian Sensex. It can also have topics about Indian economy in general. It can also have topics about Indian exports and imports. Which countries we have an export surplus, which we import more. What is our strength in terms of as a country? We produce cotton, we produce sugar, and what impact these industries have on the Indian economy. So basically, you might expect certain questions which are around the Indian business ecosystem in general, and you might be given case studies. For example, and this is not just the right answer, there are multiple ways to approach this. You are a fashion clothing firm and you want to enter India. Which are the few things that you will keep in mind? So one of the approaches that I believe is important to understand is that India has 4 extreme weathers, and not every weather is experienced in every part of the country. So summers are pretty extreme, winters are pretty extreme, rainy season is pretty extreme. Not every country globally will have all these seasons. So clothing industry, if you have to enter in India, will have to make sure that I have these all 4 seasons in my mind before I make some clothes. And like this, you have to be just like aware that what points I can use to give a very business-oriented approaches to my problem statement. And this again will help you to answer what is the Indian context and what business ideas can help. So 2-3 things: be yourself, prepare your CV well, whatever references that Nikhil mentioned, just try to go through these topics, understand what is OD, why ODCL, things like that. The screen shared right now has a very exhaustive list of what you can 99% expect in your interviews. Apart from that, be very well versed about the business scenarios in this country, especially India and the Southern Asian context. And last but not the least, if there is any factor that you feel will probably discourage you or bring you down, probably your academics or a probable job gap or anything, don't worry about that, because TISS is one of the few colleges in the country which has a very open mind. So just be very confident and concurrent with your story, and I'm 200% sure that you will do well. Over to you, Ronak.
Yeah, thanks for this insights, everyone, and particularly Ayush, you have really shared nice examples, and how should you answer. I'm sure all the viewers have noted down these points, and you can keep them in mind when you are going to appear for the interview, because particularly if you are going to appear for TISS ODCL interview, you are going to be definitely, you are a person with work-ex, and the expectations will be slightly different, right? They expect more mature answer from you. So yeah, please incorporate the points mentioned by Ayush. Now here is a question coming up, Ayush, if you can just help. So George is asking about this question, asking about this point. What is the level of proficiency they expect from candidates when it comes to knowledge about ODCL? Because the books are laden with the concepts and it is difficult to memorize them in such a short time. So I'm sure they are not expecting candidates to memorize the concepts and all. So what is the level of understanding that the interviewers would be expecting? Ayush,
my understanding is a basic understanding. You should be able to differentiate and at least have a working understanding of what is OD in the first place. It's common sense. If you already know about OD, why will you need a master's in that, right? So no one is expecting a PhD or a master's level answer when they are asking you questions. But yes, it's as simple as this. So if I have applied for a master's in supply chain, I should know what a supply chain is. If I've applied for a master's in finance, I should understand what basic financial terms are. What is a profit and loss statement? What is a balance sheet? And very basics about it, at least before my master's in finance. Similarly in OD, what is OD? What can be its practical implications on any organization? And what is your understanding about this field, and why, when this is the most important part, why are you passionate about this particular field? Is there a particular instance from your previous work experience? Is it something that you have read recently? Do you know somebody who is practicing OD? And this is where your source of inspiration is coming from. So just make sure that apart from your basic understanding, you have a thorough reason why this particular fields excite you. And to my basic understanding, this is similar to why anyone would want to do a master's in supply chain, operations, strategy, or any business field for the matter of fact. I hope this helps, Ronak.
Yeah, and there is one more question. So maybe any one of you can help. Ayush, if you would like, then you can just answer, and then maybe Nikhil and Akash can also answer the question. And it's a very common question. I'm sure there are many aspirants who have this question: how to justify a gap of 1 year? So first of all, do they really pinpoint at this gap? If yes, then how can you justify?
So again, there is no right answer for this, because gap years generally have multiple reasons. Someone might have a very unfortunate family incident. Someone might have certain medical emergencies, and sometimes it's just a matter of economy. Just understand, today with COVID-19, there is a possibility that a lot of people have lost their jobs. Sometimes it's very obvious that why there are certain elements of gaps in your CV. My approach to this is always that how did you utilize this time? So let's assume that I have a gap of 1 year. Did I do something that creates an impact to my interviewer? For example, I learned a dance practice. For example, I reached a particular proficiency in Bharatanatyam, or I did few online courses, or I started my startup and this is what the startup is doing today. Or I was volunteering for Teach for India, where I was teaching students who don't have access to proper schooling system. So what I'm trying to say is, having a gap is not a sin. आपने कोई बात नहीं करा अगर आपके CV में gap आया है because of the reasons which you can't control, that's fine. But उसको overcome करने का, the point which you can use to overcome is that कि how did I utilize that time and how it has helped you as an individual to grow. And this also adds as a diversity point. Imagine how many students will have teaching experience for Teach for India in rural areas before an MBA program? Very less. So understand what I have just done is the points where I was expecting to lose points, I've converted that very quickly into a strength point, which has given me more chances to qualify in a very tough environment like India, where every seat के लिए बहुत सारे बच्चे compete करते हैं. So every weakness in your CV can be a massive strength for you. Just have a very good, strong data point for it.
Correct. In fact, there can be one more reason that you can put forward. I mean, in case if it comes to justifying your gap, as Ayush mentioned, that having gap is not a sin, but how did you utilize that is very important. So in case if you didn't teach somewhere or if you didn't work somewhere, you can just say that I invest this time in developing myself, in making myself as a better person before launching myself in the corporate world. Even this can work well if you have really improved your skills. For example, you may be a person who had that problem of stammering or stuttering, and you utilize this period to overcome that particular part or any other fear or any other weakness. You can definitely mention that. Okay. Yeah, I'm sorry, Ayush, but I'll have to trouble you
because... Just to add on this point, because this is an extremely important question for aspirants.
And there are two more questions for you. Couple of users have pointed out.
To add on to this, the present class of this ODCL has a lot of students with clear gaps.
Okay.
So I just want to stress on the point that a lot of students have converted this and they have got really good jobs as well after that. So nothing to worry about and just go with the flow.
Yeah, I'm sure that will boost their confidence. Ayush, what I'm saying is there is one more question that has been pointed to you. So Deepmala is asking this question. And it's again a very important question. I'm sure maybe even Akash and Nikhil can answer this. So they'll probably they may ask this question during the interview: why ODCL, not HRM? So how will you answer this question? How will you show your preference over about ODCL over HRM?
So one of the things that I usually do because this is a fairly common question, this has been asked to all of us, even Akash, Nikhil, every student in our class and previous batches have gone through this question. It's a fairly common question to have. So first of all, my approach to this is don't demean or criticize any profession when you're starting your answer. You have to create value. You don't have to criticize and then tell you why this is better than other. Right? The answer can be like this. For example, there was a time when in Indian cricket team a pure batsman called Rahul Dravid was wicket keeping. And we had to go with that because we needed some extra batsmen. And that was something that we had to do. But later in the stage, it got evolved that now we require a specialist wicketkeeper. So create that value. How OD has helped organizations go through change transformations. How OD has created that business value impact. How OD as a function involves a lot of people while making decisions. How OD makes an organization much more healthier in the longer run. Create that value without criticizing or demeaning any other profession, because trust me, a bowler is as important, a wicketkeeper is as important, a batsman is as important, a fielder is as important for any team to succeed. So inside an organization, every function has to be at its best to navigate through this VUCA world. So try to create value. That OD does this, which is really interesting to me. I want to learn more. OD has helped this. I believe in certain values which resonates with the OD values. And this is why I want to pick up this field. Without just comparing with any other field. I would not restrict this to just HR. It can be anything. Why not OD in finance? Why not OD in supply chain? Every function has their own value in any organization and we have to accept that.
Yes, so I think because when I prepare students for interview on this Unacademy CAT channel, so even I come across this question. So guys, let me tell you fairly, I mean in a very layman's way, this is like comparing apple with orange. Okay, I mean both are good. So if you are asked why you are choosing apple over orange, of course the question is like that. So rather than saying I don't like orange, you can just mention that apple has this quality which I need right now or I am looking forward to. Right, and I'm sure they'll not have any other question to ask you on the top of this, right? So yes, and for that you will require a bit of homework also. So fair enough, I'm sure you have got this idea. Yes, Akash, did you get this kind of question during your interview? Were you asked which other college have you applied and all?
Like as Ayush said, this is a common question which any aspirant can expect. So for I would suggest you need to be first sure why you choose ODCL at the first place. So like you should have the rationale clear. And if you are clear with your rationale, I think you can easily convince the interviewer as well. So first of all, you should be clear with why you are taking ODCL, and also you need to frame your answer well. I mean, you just can't go to the interview and start keeping your points at that time itself. You need to have a fair bit of understanding why you chose your ODCL and prepare the answer beforehand, and then go for the interview. So I mean, this approach they should follow.
Yeah, Akash, honestly speaking, I mean, I being a host, I can be transparent and honest. I'm sure you can't be that honest. This is my personal observation. 90% of the TISS aspirants target HRM, even though they do not know whether they are fit for HR, but they just try to score in entrance exam. They target HRM and then they decide why they want to pursue HR. Okay, and then if they do not qualify for that, they go for ODCL. Unfortunately, this is my observation with whatever limited 20-25 students I have interacted, and I think it's time that people change that thing, because I have seen, I have few students, Omkar and the others also, right, and they are doing so well in ODCL. They've got so many good career opportunities. Now I'll say nothing less than that you could have got in HRM, maybe sometimes even more. But then I'm feeling sorry about the students that why ODCL was not the choice in the first place, why they are going for that after they are not getting into HRM, right? So please guys, you should be very clear and start looking forward to the different options, different career opportunities that you are getting. Yes, Nikhil, do you agree with this? Yeah.
You want me to respond on this question?
Yeah, I mean, yes. So just one another view on this. If you are asked, why are you not going for HRM and ODCL?
Basically, before that, I would like to talk about the previous question. So when we were talking about year gap,
correct.
So to say that even I had a year gap after my graduation. So my advice would be just be honest and truthful to them. So I took a year gap because I was more interested in building my career in armed forces. And I dedicated the whole year in my preparation, and so I was very honest, and I talked to them that why that career choice, and how coming to TISS also I would be able to serve the purpose the social service what I wanted to do for the country. I will be able to ensure that even after joining TISS. And regarding, I could see a few questions where people they are saying that if they have marked HR as their first option and OD as second, so I see they are a bit worried. So just to respond them, I would like to say them that actually TISS, they have only allowed you to choose 3 options. And I have even seen people who at times choose 3 options, they fail to clear the cutoff for first 2, and they ultimately, land, and they also get through the third option what they pick for themselves. So I would say don't be, more thoughtful about that thing. Just be clear that why those 3 were your choice, and even they know that if they have provided you 3 options to choose, definitely some or the other courses will come at 2 or 3. So that won't be a big issue. You should be clear about it in your thoughts that why you pick those options.
Right, I think that's a good point, and I'm sure that will also help our viewers understand that we have an example who himself had a gap and he could justify that because he mentioned he was preparing for certain other areas, and even coming to TISS will help him achieve the similar goals in a different way. Right, so I think most of the learners and the viewers have got their answer. Yes, once again, Nikhil, Ayush and Akash, I would like to thank you for accepting our invitation and accepting the request of the viewers to interact with them. It was mainly the request had come from many of my students, sir, please organize this kind of session so that we can understand the ground level reality before we gear up for the actual OPI and TISSMAT process. Yes, and at the same time, I also want to thank to all my viewers for being patient viewer over there and liking this particular video. Do not, in case you haven't done it, please do it, and do not forget to share it with your friends. Keep learning with us on this India's largest online platform, that is Unacademy CAT, and I'm signing off right now once again. So we'll keep coming up with more such sessions. Yeah.
Thank you so much for hosting us, sir. And at the same time, I would like to say aspirants that if they have any query, feel free to reach out to Element Aspirant Relation Team. anytime, whatever queries they have, we are always happy to.
Yeah, I think your Instagram handle and this Facebook page is quite popular, quite visible. But it was displayed in between in these videos for a couple of times, so you can quickly just go to that particular time point and you can definitely take the details in case you don't have. Yes, so thank you. It was really enriching, and have a good time ahead.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah, bye bye.
Thank you so much.
Bye.